up, guys? I'm Whitney Moore.
And I'm Hector Navarro. Welcome to DC Daily.
We have so many more updates from this year's WonderCon, but first we are kicking things off with the most important birthday of the year.
That's right. Unless you've been locked up in Arkham Asylum, you know that this year is the Dark Knight's 80th anniversary. DC celebrated in style with a show-stopping panel, complete with an epic shout-out montage and a jaw-dropping custom cake fit for the world's greatest detective.
I had a young woman at the Chicago Comic-Con come up to me. She said, I watched your show every afternoon. My mother worked 3 jobs, my father worked 2 jobs. I was home alone every afternoon, and when my friends were getting into trouble, I had Batman, teaching me the difference between right and wrong. And she said, I always wanted to hold you. I want to hold you. So we hugged, and we both just started crying, like what you were saying. And you just realize the power that this character has in so many people's lives. It's very powerful.
Plus, they announced that Batman will be the first inductee to the Character Hall of Fame at the new Comic-Con Museum. For info on how you can celebrate Batman's birthday, check out Batman80.com.
The Caped Crusader is celebrating dual milestones with the release of Detective Comics 1000, and we got to catch up with some of the contributors who were a part of this historic event.
We were really honored when they asked us to be in Detective 1000, and when the editors mentioned that we'd be the first story in the book, it really set my mind racing, where I wanted to do something for the story that was about Batman having come to a place in his career as a detective where he felt he'd seen it all almost. And the story was about him on this case that began on his first day as Batman and seemed like a very grounded case, and then got stranger and stranger until he finally realizes it's actually a case that's all about reinvigorating his sense of what it means to be a detective in the first place.
Scott really brought all the detective elements into it. You know, it embodies that word, detective. I mean, there's a clue on a typewriter, right? And it's just, this key, the hidden panel that exposed the door into a hallway. So it was very, very much all that really cool hidden detective stuff. So it was really fun in that way.
Heretic is about the history of Batman when he was a young man. And he pissed off some people that were part of, they weren't the Yakuza, but people kind of like the Yakuza. And they want revenge on him, and he says they're nuts. And he warns them, essentially, that this is going to get deeper and bad with time.
I write these sort of sad Batman stories, and he's always moaning and groaning about losing things. And I wanted to write something that was just pure joy. In Action Comics 1000, I told a story of Superman going to his parents' grave and sort of telling them about his kids. And this is similar, where Batman goes to his parents' grave and discusses, like, how did he actually recover from his parents dying? How did he get over that loss? And the answer is his family. And so it's an issue that's just all about Batman's family. Joelle Jones drew a gorgeous, emotional Batman at a graveyard, and Tony Daniel drew one of the best double-page splashes in the history of comics.
It's really about the Bat family. I mean, I can't think of a character that wasn't really drawn from the Bat family in it. And yeah, it's an amazing thing to be a part of this book, and it's fantastic. It's a celebration of like a character that everybody loves.
As they celebrate Batman in the rest of the issue, Arkham Knight is looking at Batman as a purely bad guy, someone who's really brought a darkness and sort of creating a black hole in Gotham, and the Arkham Knight, being the hero of their own story, wants to take out Batman and bring sort of a light back to Gotham and get rid of Batman, obviously, as soon as possible. It's not much of a tease here, but anybody expecting it to be Jason Todd, it's not Jason Todd. And for the stars to align at this point in time, to be able to do those landmark issues and be a fan from that, from that young age, it represents really to little Petey 10-year-old Tomasi, like how cool and how privileged and lucky he is to be writing Detective 1000.
Batman, I think, carries more of a fascination because he doesn't have a superpower. Like, all of his origin story is based on trauma and overcoming that and moving forward and turning that into something that makes him greater than just a normal man. He's an American folk hero. I mean, nobody's talking about Babe the Blue Ox, you know.
At the end of the day, behind like the awesome costume and the car and the mansion and the grappling gun and all the cool stuff, he's a really simple story about human triumph. Everybody can relate to that story, you know, and Batman says, take the bad thing that's happened to you in your life and triumph over it. You know, use it as fuel to succeed.
It represents, of course, that Batman is ongoing and that he will continue to be ongoing. We'll see the 2000
On the animation side, the cast and crew of Justice League vs. the Fatal Five showed out for an exclusive screening of the new movie, and we got to chat with them for some behind-the-scenes intel.
Well, the greatest thing was coming back with all these actors that I worked with 20 years ago. They're like family. They really are. And everyone just fits right into their voice again, into their character again. And all those relationships just start up, with Wonder Woman and Superman. We just, we interact so much together in the booth that it's fun.
Since we did the original Justice League, I've done lots of different iterations of video games and a couple of different movies, but Bruce has not been in all of them, and Kevin and I have not been in a room on all of them. So it was great, and then Susan was there, and it just feels like old home week.
So when I first saw that Wonder Woman was going to look like she had, I'm not kidding, I cried, because I have not seen her since 2006 when Justice League went off. So I have that connection with the characters. We have some of the old, we have Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and then we have some of the new. We have Jessica Cruz, Starboy. So it's like there's the familiar, and then there's like the completely new introduction of other characters.
The Fatal Five have come back in time to terrorize. They have a plan, and Starboy has come back from the 31st century, from the Legion of Superheroes, with his own objectives. And the Justice League is trying to justice.
I was surprised actually when I got the script in the beginning, because it kind of deals with mental health, which I thought was very surprising. It's usually something that we kind of don't touch outside of all the sort of normal stuff that we kind of do. The actions and the adventures and the fighting and the explosions and stuff like that. The core of this movie, I think, is really it's really touching.
When he comes back, he doesn't know where he is. And little by little, he starts to piece together information, because he needs his quadriclozapine, which is a medication that he needs to take to keep his superhero powers, but he doesn't quite know that, because over time, the less medication that he has, the more his memory starts to go.
The Justice League is enlisted to protect Limelight, which is the newest member of the Green Lantern Pack. So we are helping her out because the Fatal Five is actively after her. I can't say why, because that would be a big spoiler, but it's a big battle. It's a big fight scene. It's two families fighting for their families, and it's epic.
They view themselves as completely superior to the Justice League. I mean, I feel like to the Emerald Empress, they're just like little gnats that just need to be dealt with. These are great enemies to go up against. They're not easy to take down.
Justice League vs. the Fatal Five is available now through digital download, or you can catch it on DC Universe and Blu-ray on April 16th. And finally, we want to give a shout out to writer Mark Russell and the team who worked on Exit Stage Left, The Snagglepuss Chronicles. The series just won this year's GLAAD Award for Outstanding Comic Book, so big congrats to everyone on your brilliant work. Now excuse me while I exit Stage Left. And that's the news from this year's WonderCon, which was, once again, a slam dunk for the world's greatest superheroes.
We've got so much more DC goodness to cover for you this week, and we will be back tomorrow for more DC Daily. Oh, and I almost forgot. Happy birthday, Batman! Cheers. Clink. He loves a cupcake.